John. We are taking in these images together, as we heard there from Border Patrol, and to remind everyone that the latest numbers show that almost 6,000 children in Border Control custody at this time. And it really stops you in your tracks when you watch this and you see these overcrowded facilities, babies, toddlers, children of all ages that are there, and they're in the middle of what is a crisis at our southern border, with numbers that continue to surge and a struggle for our country to deal with this situation. John.
Yeah, you know, when you think about the total current population there at this Donna, Texas facility, and again, the pictures are blurred so that you can't read what's on the screen. 4,100 there right now. 3,400 of those people who are in this facility are unaccompanied migrant children. Again, the capacity during a pandemic for that facility is 250. So they are way, way, way over capacity. And also because people are supposed to come into this facility, stay a maximum period of 72 hours, and then be transferred to HHS custody. That's not happening quickly enough. So more than 2,000 people at this facility have been held for longer than 72 hours, which, if you'll remember, happened during the Trump administration and was the subject of outrage by immigrants' rights groups. Other political parties were screaming from the rooftops about how awful this was, and yet we do not hear the same level of outrage over this happening now in this new administration.
And you're reminded that this is all happening, as you just mentioned, John, in the middle of a pandemic where there's concern about COVID being brought across the border at a time when we're trying to get a hold of the situation here. And by the images that we just brought you from inside this facility, John, where when you came in on the migrant having her hair washed, that was to check for lice, it reminds you of how many other screenings have to take place to safely cram this many people together, if that's even possible, but then to add to it COVID-19. What do you do?
And as you heard Deputy Chief Ortiz say, that the people who come across the border, particularly migrant unaccompanied children, are interviewed to see if they were victims of human trafficking. Well, Congressman Lance Gooden, who was on earlier this hour, said one way to figure that out very quickly would be to pass his new bill, which would require that every person who comes across the border has their DNA sampled and then is checked with the person that they come across the border with to see if these unaccompanied children, or rather children who are coming across in an ostensible, quote, family unit, actually are with their family. Let's listen in just a little more here.
Sometimes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And there's only one, so there's four of these right now, but on a regular basis, is this about how many you have?
There's usually between 5 and 7, 8.
What does that stand for? That's the hard questions I know. Oh, and then when they're done, they're put over there. Okay. Yep.
Okay, so there you see a number of migrant children. I assume that these would be unaccompanied minors who are being moved from the intake facility through to what would be the housing facility. I think that we're going to get some pictures from in there. You're watching this on a replay. It came in live a few minutes ago, but we wanted to see what was on it. And this, again, another view of the intake facility. You can see people sitting on benches waiting their turn to be processed by the Border Patrol. But the real story, I think, Sandra, will be told if we get inside that area where the illegal migrants are being housed, which are the pictures that Henry Cuellar's office leaked out a little more than a week ago, and the pictures that Ted Cruz was trying to get when he had that administration official getting up in his face saying, please stop taking pictures, stop taking pictures. So this area here is fairly sparsely populated, but I think if they get inside to the areas where the migrants are actually being housed, you might see a little more overcrowding.
Don, it's so important to see these pictures, as we saw in the first Biden news conference last week, where he took many questions on this. He was pressed on the lack of transparency on the part of his administration, why we are not seeing inside these facilities, what is going on there. Because as you can see, when we watch this together, it does give you perspective on what this is like for the Border Patrol to manage this influx of children, to manage a surge in migrants that are coming to our border in just the last couple of months. It is unprecedented, John. And for us to see firsthand and take these images in together, it tells the story that is happening right now. As Americans, we take in these pictures and we ask, what about a visit? We know Kamala Harris has been put in charge of the border situation, we were told, although it sounds more like she's going to be dealing this with the countries from which these migrants come, rather than directly with the border crisis. Whether or not we will see a visit on the part of Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, we know that Jen Psaki is grilled on this every day in that briefing room. We still don't have an answer to that question, but seeing these images certainly puts the urgency on it if you didn't already understand what was happening inside, John.
Yeah, and keep in mind, too, Sandra, that there are two different types of facilities. This is a Border Patrol intake and processing facility. This one was contracted on January the 15th. Construction began on January the 19th, and it opened up a few weeks ago. It's rather expensive. It cost $6 million to build and $16 million a month to operate, because they are operating way, way, way over capacity. Now, from here, the children will be, well, a number of things happen. First of all, there are 2 flights per day that leave this facility. Each flight holds about 130 people. A lot of those are migrant families. One flight goes to El Paso, another flight goes to San Diego, where then people are further processed. Some of them are returned to Mexico under Title 42 exclusion. Others may be transferred to other places within the country. So this is Border Patrol. But then we hear about this facility in Carrizo Springs, which was stood up during the Trump administration. That is an HHS, Health and Human Services facility, where unaccompanied minor children go to stay until a sponsor can be found to take them in while their asylum claim is adjudicated, and they're either reunited with their family in the United States, or family members or sponsors in the United States, or returned back to their home to be reunited with family. So this is the Border Patrol facility. This is the one that is full to bursting. The Carrizo Springs facility, which we saw pictures of last week, is not full to capacity. It's what's known as, quote, an aspirational facility, because there have yet to be a large number of people who have been transferred to that facility.